Hello and welcome to the channel. Be sure to share, like, and comment down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for daily videos on news and politics. Breaking: Traitor Chelsea Manning could go back to prison for what he was just caught doing. Says back in the good old days, we used to string traitors up and let them hang for their crimes. Fast forward to 2018, and not only are these idiots being exonerated and let out of prison, but they're now running for public office. But unfortunately for Chelsea Manning, the traitor who leaked more than 700,000 of our government's secret to the public, his time to parade around and thumb his nose at our country's laws could come to an abrupt end. Shortly after announcing his plans to run for the U.S. Senate, the cocky transvestite just got an unexpected bit of news that's sure to put a huge wrench in any of his political aspirations he had for the future. Now, Bradley Manning, the former Army intelligence analyst behind one of the largest leaks of classified information in history, was sentenced to prison for 35 years on 20 counts, including violations of the Espionage Act. But the traitor lover Obama decided to commute Manning's sentence as one final act to give America the middle finger before leaving office, announcing that Manning would soon be set free for his crimes. Now, rather than enjoying his newly founded freedom, Manning decided to rub our noses in his treachery even further, announcing his plans to run for Senate as a Democratic candidate in Maryland. But unfortunately for Manning, his latest arrogance could put him back into the slammer, according to breaking reports. Now, the Western Journalist reports that in a Thursday tweet, Manning posted a certificate of candidacy obtained from the Maryland State Board of Elections, an important and required step in the process of running for Senate. Now, one of the lines of the certificate states, "I am a registered voter and a citizen of Maryland and meet all requirements for the above listed office." Now, the website of the state board shows that Manning filed in Indianapolis on Thursday, which is far in advance of the late February deadline, and raises stakes for the Democratic primary in Maryland, set to begin at the end of June. It goes on to say that there's one slight problem, however. Manning is still considered an active duty soldier, and you cannot run for office while you're serving in the military, which is a common knowledge to anyone possessing half a brain. The Western Journalist went on to say that as part of the coverage of Manning's filings with the FEC and State Board, virtually every media organization has declared that Manning is a former Army private. In fact, as the Army confirmed to the Daily Caller News Foundation in September 2017, Manning remains as an active duty soldier, albeit in excessive leave and in a non-pay status, while his appeal of General Court-Martial for violating the Espionage Act and other orders is still underway. The Army further stated that Manning holds an active duty identification card and acknowledged his status and access to government health care prior to being released. Now, while Manning's felony conviction does not appear to automatically disqualify a run for office, his active duty status presents a much more troubling issue, such as status, in other words, has enormous implications for engaging in any kind of political activity, especially a Senate run. Now, Drew Brenner Beck, retired Army Judge Advocate General and President of the National Institute of Military Justice, told the Daily Caller News Foundation that on the face of it, Manning is prohibited by the Department of Defense regulations from running for office while serving in an active duty capacity. The only exception is if Secretary of Defense General James Mattis grants explicit permission, a power that cannot be delegated by a secretary to anyone else. According to Brenner Beck, the regulation in question is Department of Defense Directive 1344-.10, Directive 1344.10, political activities by members of the armed forces, dated February 9, 2008, para 4.2.2. Now, the paragraph is punitive and violation of its subjects here to courts-martial for violation of lawful order of regulation under Article 92. Brennerbreck told the DCNF her activities campaigning for herself and fundraising for herself may also violate other provisions of the DoD directive, themselves separately punishable under the UCMJ Article 92. Now, Brennerbreck added that prosecution in this case is a discretionary decision by her chain of command. Victor M. Hansen, a law professor at New England Law and former military lawyer, also agreed that Manning's run for office is legally prohibited and could result in prosecution. It's prohibited for the obvious reason that you don't want someone serving two masters on active duty, Hansen stated. Now, he added, but in Manning's case it's less of a concern because she's on excess leave. She has less connection with the military than the GOP Senator Lindsey Graham did when he was an Air Force Reserve Judge Advocate General, and certainly less than Army Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster does while serving as National Security Advisor to Donald Trump. Now, if the Pentagon declines to prosecute, it's possible that other active duty members of the military will assume that running for office or engaging in political campaigns or advocacy in ways that overstep the bounds of regulations won't be met with much resistance. It says it looks like yet again Manning is ignoring the thing called the law, which is something he has apparently gotten quite accustomed to. If the Pentagon doesn't prosecute, this could inspire other active duty service members to violate DoD regulations and run for political office in addition to other prohibited forms of political involvement.